Hey, what's going on? So this is the real deal, and brought to you by because I just made these 5 mistakes at a smaller scale. So let's just dive right into this. So check it out. Here is your, whatever you want to call it. Here is where you start before dieting. Okay, so I call it your process, your standard, or some people call it metabolic set point. So here's where you start before you diet. All right. Then you're gonna diet. All right, and depending on the level of extremeness, and you're gonna get either like photo shoot lean, or you're gonna get very, what I call unhealthy level of body fat. I don't mean that in a bad way, because a lot of athletes get to that and they're in season, or physique athletes get there, but you need to be kind of short-lived. All right, so I call that unhealthy level of body fat. So, all right, the 5 mistakes that people make. First is they stop tracking, period, but mainly they stop tracking their protein. So their protein tends to, they're tracking it, they're hitting it, they're quality sources of protein, and then this ends and the protein tracking goes down. Now the tracking period goes down, which is a bad thing, but particularly the protein, that's your most thermogenic nutrient, all right? Also, when you're particularly down here at the unhealthy levels of body fat, you are just metabolically suppressed. You're at a lighter body weight, your non-exercise activity thermogenesis is lower, your thermogenic effect of food is lower, your leptin is lower, your ghrelin is up, you're just primed to put on fat. So now we're here, okay, your testosterone is lower, by the way, estrogen is probably up, thyroid is down. So we're just primed to put on fat if we're not careful and if we do these 5 things. So now think of being in a position where you're primed to put on fat. And the leaner you are, the more primed you are to put on fat, and then lessening your protein intake. Okay, well obviously that's just common sense. Shoot, I'm gonna lose lean body fat, okay, and be more apt to gain fat. So stop tracking or protein, mistake number 1. Mistake number 2, I made this just on my little mini macro break, whatever you wanna call it on vacation, stop training. So again, let's think about this again. So we're already at, depending on how lean we're getting, we're already at a predisposition to be losing lean body mass, to be losing our precious hard-worked muscle because our body fat's already low. And now we're gonna stop training. We're gonna say, and we're gonna talk about this in number 4, okay, why we stop training. But just stop training. Keep your muscles mobilized. Do a deload week after your diet, or that would be a good time to actually increase volume because you're increasing your calories post-diet. But most people, they'll take like a week off, 2 weeks off, which leads to a month off, which leads to some other things, and lower lean body mass being one of them. Number 3, massive overeating days in a row. Now, if you're at the unhealthy level of body fat, you need to put some fat on. Okay, that needs to happen. But if you say you do a little mini cut, and you get to a point where you're at a healthy, lean level, after that, it's not the time to do mass overeating for multiple days in a row. You want to have, you go out of boundaries one night out with the girls, night out with the guys, cool, but mass overeating. And again, the mass overeating, depending on how lean you are, that's going to depend on how much fat you put on, obviously. But the more metabolically suppressed you are, and the more mass eating you're doing, it's very easy. You can negate, and the math and science is very clear on this, you can negate an 8-week cut in 5 days, no problem. Think of that, 5 days. I negated, back in the day, I think it was 2012, I negated an entire prep, 24 weeks of dieting in 1 week. It can absolutely be done. Of course, I did all 5 of these things. All right, so next. Now, this is a big one. This is the big one to overcome. Goal mentality, all right? So you went into the 6-week cut, the 8-week cut, the 24-week cut, whatever it was, with a goal in mind. And then what happens? That goal goes away, so that goal is gone, and you get into this state of depression. You're kind of like, well, my goal's gone. What now? Well, I'm gonna go party. I'm gonna go mass eat. I'm gonna take a week off of training. I'm gonna stop eating enough protein, okay? Really, really dangerous, number 2. So with the goal mentality is the behaviors that got you to the goal go away. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's an issue with the goal mentality. And a lot of people, they might jump into another goal, okay, because of doing a lot of these things, and then that further puts them down the rabbit hole of being metabolically depressed and so forth. So the goal mentality, you want to be able to have behaviors that continue on after your goal. And we're not going to talk about this now, but there's a way, this line right here, there is a way to impact this line right here so your standard is closer to this. Okay, and that is awesome. That's a different discussion, but we will talk about that. But that's an exciting discussion. All right, number one, huge. And again, this kind of goes into number two with the goal mentality. But if you're real lean, you got to understand, we are not built to be like vascular 24/7 and ripped abs and granite or in season. We're not built to look like an in-season athlete or an in-season bodybuilder or physique athlete. Our bodies are not meant to maintain that level of leanness. That's why all of our hormones are depressed. That's why if you're a female, you might not be having a period anymore or a menstrual cycle, because your body's currency is fat. And when fat gets to unhealthy levels of lowness, your body's like, it says, I can't reproduce, I need to shut down, I need to do whatever I can do so that I can get back into reproduction. And how it does that is it gets those energy reserves back, it gets that body fat back. So if you're at like a real ripped level of body fat, thinking that you can maintain that is one of the number one mistakes, definitely one of our top 5 mistakes that people make in their cut. And that kind of leads them to a whole bunch of things psychologically that go wrong and so forth. All right, so recap. Don't do these things if you're at the end of a cut. Don't stop tracking your protein. Don't stop training. As a matter of fact, it's a great time to increase your training as you increase your calories. Makes sense, right? Number 3, do not do multiple bouts of massive overfeeding. Okay, I know, I get it. I like buffets too, but do not do multiple bouts of massive overfeeding. And here's the thing, as long as you don't stop tracking, you won't do these things, okay, because you'll be more aware. Next, goal mentality. All right, you gotta think, okay, if you had a goal mentality, you gotta think, all right, well, what processes got me into the shape that I am in? Keep those processes running, and that's a big part of lowering your set point. Okay, and then finally thinking you can maintain. Nobody can maintain like how the magazines portray people, like they're ripped 24/7, 365. I shouldn't say that. You probably can maintain that, and you're gonna be a walking zombie. You're gonna, bags under your eye. I mean, we're just not meant as humanity to be crazy ripped 24/365. Now, can we be healthy? Can we kind of be photo shoot ready? Absolutely, particularly if we can increase our metabolic set point or our process or our standard. So I'm going to talk about that in the future because that's a pretty exciting conversation. All right, hopefully this was helpful. You guys have a rocking night.